Overnight, Simone Biles pulled out of tomorrow's all-round competition at the Olympics in Tokyo. And remember, that's after she said that she is protecting her body and mind by withdrawing from the team competition, which happened yesterday.
I just felt like it would be a little bit better to take a back seat, work on my mindfulness, and I knew that the girls would do an absolutely great job, and I didn't want to risk the team a medal for kind of my screw-ups because they've worked way too hard for that.
Jarrod Spencer is a sports psychologist and author of Mind of the Athlete and joins us now. Jarrod, good morning. You know, I have my question all along has been, is there a difference between a slump or a mental block, sometimes they call it like in baseball, which you hear of players hitting, or having a real problem with your mental well-being as an athlete?
Well, it's both. In gymnastics, it's sometimes referred to as the twisties. It's very unusual for a human being to throw their feet above their head, flying in the air, twisting and spinning, right? That's not natural. That's not normal. And if the case of the twisties develops, it's a situation where an individual's overthinking and they realize, look, I can't do this safely and effectively. And if that occurs, just like a slump in baseball or a shank in golf, it can be very difficult to work oneself out of that very quickly.
Now, she talked about some of the things that led up to that decision. She didn't use that term, but she did describe some of the factors. Let's listen.
No injury, thankfully, and that's why I took a step back because I didn't want to do something silly out there and get injured. So I thought it was best if these girls took over and did the rest of the job, which they absolutely did. They're Olympic silver medalists now, and they should be really proud of themselves for how well they did last minute having to go in. And it's been really stressful, this Olympic Games, I think, just as a whole, not having an audience. There are a lot of different variables going into it. It's been a long week. It's been a long Olympic process. It's been a long year. So just a lot of different variables, and I think we're just a little bit too stressed out. But we should be out here having fun, and sometimes that's not the case.
So if I hire you, Jarrod, if I'm Simone Biles and I hire you to help me get over the problem that I'm having right now in terms of being able to perform or how I'm feeling, what would you do? What do we work on? How do you work on it?
Yeah. Great question. And of course, I don't know Simone personally, but for an individual in a similar situation, it's really two things, Robin. It's outside-in head knowledge. We've got to give the athlete the tools in their mental toolbox to manage the pressure cooker that they're in. But that's only half of it. The other half is really clearing out the mind. That's the inside-out kind of talk therapy, catharsis, which is kind of a freeing of repressed emotion. And the more we can help an individual with the inside out and the outside in, that combination usually sets them up for great success. Here's the problem. It can't be done quickly. This is something just like physical training has to be done for days and weeks and months and years leading up to the big event.
Is it about trying to get over the fear of failure?
I don't think so. I think this is so much bigger than just that. I think it's really about, and I think, quite frankly, I really applaud Simone. I mean, didn't she sound so emotionally mature in that interview? I mean, just really being candid and transparent and real and honest about a situation that's obviously very humbling for her. And so I think this is more about Simone recognizing that in order to do what she does at an extremely high level, she's got to be very mindful, very in the moment. And if there's any hesitancy, any doubt, she could really risk catastrophic injury. And that's just not worth it. So to her credit, I think she's being pretty emotionally mature about this.
Yeah, it is impressive, is it not, to say I'm not at my peak level after actually, you know, as viewers, we've come to expect just greatness from her. And she is human. Yeah. She is definitely human. Do you sense that we're seeing kind of a sea change right now in terms of understanding the mind of elite athletes? We see Naomi Osaka also stepping back, taking care of her mental well-being, and now another very strong female athlete that is so revered by so many, also pulling herself out of a competition and talking about mental health.
Well, it's bittersweet. I say that because, yeah, it's wonderful that we're talking about it and now that we're paying more attention to it. But look, this has been a long time coming. You know, in the sports world, and not just sports, Robin, this is so much more about life and our culture and society as we're in this pandemic phase right now. Is like, hey, we're all not okay. And to suck it up, push through, just get through it, that's no longer enough. And here's the real issue. I mean, if you think about like our kids' schools and not just elementary school, middle school, high school, but also colleges and beyond in sports. Like, really, what are the financial resources being put behind mental health in your neighborhood, in our communities? And if every individual thinks about it, the reality is not enough. And so this is kind of an alarm bell being sounded across the world saying we've got to do more for mental health. It's okay not to be okay, but we've literally got to give people the tools in their mental toolbox.
You know what? That brings up a very good point, and I have a question. How many, like high school football teams, for example, have a sports psychologist on staff?
Well, hardly anybody. And it goes back to funding. And so very few high school sports, some college, in the pros, we need more of it as well.
Jarrod Spencer, thank you for your insight. We appreciate it, and thank you very much. Good to talk with you.